Oh, okay. Hi, everyone, or whoever's here, or anyone. It's James, Jim, Jimbo, whoever. This is Monotalk with me, thanks to a very uh, brilliant and tech savvy person by the name of Evan Kim. Eben Kim. Um, I'm basically just having a show, and I've got hi Cheryl, uh, and I've hi Indy, and I've got some people on here that'll be on here, and they're always uh, liberal, progressive, uh, further left than dim blue. But we do get some people in here that have been Republican, and some people that are Hillary supporters, which we always, always welcome all the time. Those kind of people are great to have on here. We want to hear their their points of view. We want to hear what concerns them, and it's just good to have a good place where people can discuss things. And we talk about politics, social media, mainstream media. We also talk about uh, carrots and vegetarians and apple cider vinegar. We may talk about big pharma, big coal, big banks, candidates, world events. But basically, the core that I represent is just trying to save this planet and all of its inhabitants before it continues to be destroyed and abused and overly used. So, welcome. Howdy and aloha. See, the reason I can say howdy is because I worked on a farm for a long time with my grandfather. And I'm Hawaiian, 42%, so it's okay. And I'll try not to touch my nose too much because I think I touch my nose too much, what people are saying. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Red's on here, Cheryl, Stevie's here. Maybe they're, yeah, they're just getting warmed up. Probably anybody ever had a another supporters. Okay. Um, oh, I need to demagnify mine. There we go. All right. Angel is on again. Hey, Angel. Angel Tibbs is. I got a friend that his name. He's a Marine. He's a badass. His name is Angel. So, I is Angel a girl or a guy? You've been with us for a long time, Angel. So I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, but it doesn't matter. Chat. Um, anyway, so it's just me. I wasn't on yesterday. I had important things to do, and I apologize for that. Um, you know, but I was on Friday. Let's not bring up Friday. It was kind of silly. Later in the evening, it was kind of silly. I kind of juggled going out, uh, getting flagged down by some friends. They texted me, "Hey, get over here. We want to have some beers." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll come real quick, but I can only be for a little bit because I have a show on." But I wanted to. I went to the store, and then the store was closed because it closed earlier than I thought. And then I went to another store, which was by the bar. Anyway, that was fun. Let's not continue that. Let's not bring up the soy sauce bottle, please. Let's try to keep it to a minimum with the soy sauce bottle. And I just brought it up. Oh, hi, young lady Angel Tibbs. Welcome again. Bruins for free speech. That's funny. And then it's saying Angel is a self-proclaimed MILF, and I don't doubt it. Okay, maybe I shouldn't read this. Hey, Nubs in the house. All right. And I think on Friday I said something to the comment on somebody's comment that was commenting, and I don't think I made any sense because I was a little tipsy. A little. That's kind of an understatement. But it was Friday night. Just got paid Friday night. Sure, I know you know that song. How, how? Okay, so today there's a lot of things kind of happened in the past few days. I've been watching Jimmy Dore. I posted it on on my Twitter and on my Facebook. I just got in a heated battle with a guy named David on my Facebook. What's your fucking gripe with Donna Brazil? And I said, I sent the Jimmy Dore video that he just did to that person, and I said, what did I say? And I told this guy David, who is a serious hillbot, Rachel Maddow, the whole 9 yards, and I just told him, man. I said, so what I did is I posted on my Facebook this picture here, and I'm going to bring it up now. It's a cool. It's a picture of. It's on. It's on YouTube, by the way. And it says at the top, and I've kind of critiqued it, and I pulled it off of Jimmy's uh, video. I just pushed pause and cut and pasted it and made a little thing here. It says, find all these DNC rules and committee, hold them all accountable in upcoming elections. And then there she is. So now Donna Brazil is the DC Rules and Bylaws Committee uh, person. And this is the person that sent, this is the person that sent Hillary, per the WikiLeaks, which she never denounced and she admitted to it on several occasions, questions that CNN or Tapper or somebody was going to be asking. I don't even remember the town hall with Bernie, or the debate with Bernie and Hillary on CNN. I remember some of it. But anyway, so somebody, Don Brazil was sending emails to Hillary and giving her the questions beforehand. Literally cheating. Literally cheating. Like, I'm sure this has happened in the past with who knows how many times and how many candidates. But when you have this kind of collusion, it's and there it's a travesty. It's a travesty to our democracy, which, in my opinion, doesn't seem to be very democratic at all lately. It's just been crappy. So, so this guy hasn't responded to the Jimmy Dore video or the information that I provided for him in the Facebook. But I really feel sorry for him because he truly believes, or either he truly believes or he thinks that the DNC really gives a shit about him. Or the way he's posted things, I'm kind of feeling that he's getting paid because I've heard stories that there are people on Facebook and on Twitter that are actually social media uh, employees for the DNC that, and he's came after me hard on many occasions. Oh, and by the way, somebody immediately came to my defense. Her name was Cora, and then slapped David around with some comments about she literally passed debate questions to Hillary Clinton. So this kind of helps. She literally passed debate questions to Hillary Clinton on top of rooting for her in emails and acting in a very impartisan manner. She is one of the worst parts of the DNC. Now, on the Rules Committee, because fucking winning races, fucking making Democrats into a party of the people, question mark, right? Yeah, it's like this. It's like, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you your position is the person at the restaurant. You're the bartender, okay? But you're the worst bartender in the world, and there's like 5 bartenders, but you're the worst one, and you cheat and you steal money and you steal from the till, and you know, and you drink and you get drunk and you're just a shithead bartender. But I'm going to make you head bartender. That's kind of what's going on. That's kind of what's going on, and it's really sad. It's extremely sad and pathetic because it's like they're not learning anything. The DNC is going so they're not even going right. They're going in a fucking direction that most people would never even go. I mean, the Republicans are fucking crazy, idiot, fucking wackos. Everybody knows that. But they have scruples. At least they have scruples. And they have norms in a sense, it seems. But I wouldn't say ethics or morals that much. But, and I don't think they would cheat their own party members. I don't think, I'm pretty sure there's lots of things they've done, but these guys in the DNC are just, the big new deal or the big idea they have now didn't do anything. It's just they're imploding. They're imploding. I don't get it. I'm just responding to something. Anyway, so yeah, so that was it's really interesting. But he says, what is your issue with Donna Brazil? Is growing up in grassroots politics and has been an advocate for campaign finance reform. Well, really, I was like, I said my first post to him, I go, dude, it's not just fuck Zill. I call her Donna Fuckzill, Brazil. Anyway, it's just so much a two-party oligarchy. It's both parties have been slaves to the corporations and the 1% for far too long, and it's in our. They do it right in front of us, and they don't give a shit. So like we've all said, what's his name, George Carlin. They don't give a fuck. They don't fucking care about you. They don't. They may appease you. They may say that they do. They may try. Oh shit! I gotta put. Dang it! I forgot. I have to put. Sorry guys. I have to put the invite on the YouTube. What an idiot. Ugh! Yeah. Okay. My bad. My bad. My bad. It is. Yeah, it's been a rough weekend, but I deserved it. I needed to let loose. have a few cocktails, and enjoy. And it's good sometimes for those that have cocktails. I think you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, everything's in there. It's saved. It's good. There are 13 watching now. People are talking. Ruins for free. Angel Tibbs, Garden Gnome, Midnight, a few others. And then what I do is I grab the 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 actual YouTube link, and then I throw it up on Twitter. Hey, Garden.
What's up, dude? Hey, man, after you get done talking about this, there's a couple of things I'd like to go over
Yes.
about the
No.
Bell Edmonds accusations.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm pretty much done. It's just sad that there are a lot of Hillary supporters out there that aren't getting it. And what's really interesting. Oh shit! I got to turn this on. Hold on. There are even what's interesting. My mom gets it. She watches our show. She was on Friday night, by the way. I think you know that. So, I know, right?
We're in trouble now.
I know. You guys better behave yourselves.
Oh, damn. And she's an investigator, dude. She's going to track me down.
I know she's pretty badass. But she plays World of Warcraft, which she's got a good healer. Her and my aunt. It's pretty cool, man. So, my brother, we went to the casino yesterday. Just spent a few bucks, trying to win something. She likes to go to the casino because she says her thing is she goes, "All right, I'm going to the casino. You're taking me, Jimmy." Okay, mom. You can't say no. You know what I mean? And then sometimes my brother will take, but it was all three of us: my brother, myself, and ma, and and on our way there, we were talking about the show, and they thought it was great. They said the forum is out saying, "Hey, Andy," and they thought everything is fantastic and the word's getting out. But here's what's interesting: is my brother, who follows my sister, who is a Rachel Maddow fan, right? He's totally doesn't. They both don't get anything. They don't under. They don't. It's not because they're. It's cognitive dissonance, which is I think more of what my sister has. I think maybe, but my brother just doesn't know. He was a serious Republican for a long time. For a long, I mean, it's just within the.
So he just stopped keeping up on stuff? He got sick of it or what?
Yeah, well, the thing about him is he's kind of he just kind of follows what what's ever on mainstream media. That's all. He's just one of those people, and there are tons of them. But when I started saying things, when I started talking about the two-party oligarchy in a sense, or the deep state, and how things are really being done and moving with lots of proof, and then I talked about Building 7. He goes, "What's Building 7?" And I'm like, "You don't." And then right there, it's like there's the flag. He's only following what mainstream media gives them. You see what I'm saying?
Is he a busy guy or what?
Actually, he has gout and a few other things, so he's kind of out of work. He used to. My brother was a very successful uh, F&I guy at a car dealership, Acura dealership. He used to make over $150,000 a year, easy. He bought a beautiful house in a place called Coto de Casa years ago. And then he started getting these gout episodes, and they started getting worse. So now he has gout to the point to where he's on disability. So that's just where he's at. It's kind of sad because the guy was just badass. He's still badass, but he's just, he's just.
Get him on here, dude.
I know. I will. He'll come on sometime. It's just, but when I started talking about a few things, I actually kind of looked at him. I thought he was going to throw up because that's what it's kind of like culture shock. Once you start, when I was saying, okay, so the plane's going one way, but the engine supposedly fell on the other building and it went down 4 hours later. So, and he goes, oh my God, I think that other plane was supposed to hit that building 7, the one that the passengers took down. And he just pulled that out of his head, and I go, wow, that's a good deduction. So anyway, he's
Well,
go ahead.
I think that a lot of people. My wife, she doesn't watch news at all, and it's about psychological preservation. I mean, it's all about psychological survival. Because if you get too deep into this, some people they can't handle it. They just can't handle it.
I backed off. I really did. I just said, you know what, Scott? I'll just send you little bits of information. Watch a little Jimmy Dore. It's kind of funny.
Right.
Just don't jump in it quick because it's heavy.
It is heavy, and a lot of people they just can't deal. They can't deal with it. I don't talk politics with my wife for the most part, unless if she brings it up. I'm like, are you sure? Because I got my notes.
They're all here.
You sure you want to dive into deep pools because I will go after your heroes. I'll go after Barack and I'll go after Hillary. So
Well, and
oh God, no.
That's the thing. People invest their identities to a degree in these political figures and in these parties.
Right.
So when you challenge these figures, you're challenging their identity. They've been arguing, oh, Obama's great, and they've been saying it for the last 8-10 years. They're just not going to flip overnight. And you're probably
Obama's hoping change. Obama's hoping change. He said so.
Well, you and I know that, dude. We just got to spread the word.
Yeah, didn't you see all the hope and change that happened while he was in office? Woo!
I hope that drone will change direction from Syria to Yemen. See, hope and change. Jackass.
Domestic use. That's what it'll change to.
Oh yeah, that's the big fear now.
What's up, Stevie?
Hey, Stevie. Hi, Cheryl. I put your name in there.
Hey.
Hey, yeah. Hey, Cheryl.
I like doing that.
Hey, Stevie, who was that cute kid in front of the Capitol building?
I know, right? What a cutie pie. She's supposed
to
Come on now.
This was something I was interested in when I was a kid, and I lost touch with it, and then just until recently, I got back because of Bernie. I got back into it.
As I said, get ready. Let's jump into the deep end because this shit's gonna get nasty. It's gonna get nasty.
It is.
And now that I'm like back out of the meditated fog, I'm back, so I can start swinging again. So let's go. I don't know for how long because I'm gonna be working the holidays.
I would like to hear what Bernie Sanders has to say and Keith Ellison after their people were eliminated from the committee. There are no progressives on there at all.
Yeah, you notice nobody said anything. Nobody said a damn word.
Cricket.
Yep.
Tepid. That's what I'd call it. A tepid.
Well, at least I know who the hell was on the committee. They keep such a damn they keep it so under wraps. It'd be nice that if we knew all the names who were actually on there. That's all I want to know. I just want it to be transparent who's on the DNC, but they keep that shit under wraps. At least I know who was on there before they got kicked off. Oh, all right. I got to go. Speaking about, I got to kick myself off.
I told my sister and my mom what you were saying about what's going on in the mail system right now.
Yeah.
They do a lot of, they get a lot of packages. So I told her what was going on, and so you helped two more people with your video.
Hey, I'm gonna be bringing more stuff out. I'm sure, So I'm probably the next postal one I'm gonna be doing is on the Hatch Act. Because there was a guy a couple of years ago that got fired for actually running in the 2nd District of Illinois as an independent. and he got fired from the Postal Service. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be looking into it and bringing it up. It'd be awesome if I could actually interview him, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But I want to get more into it.
I'd like to hear kind of a history or somewhat of a background, because I know that there was a lot of stuff that the government did trying to like mess with the funding or something like that. I know that I don't know, they're always attacking the post office. It's like, why? But I don't know the history behind it and what they can do.
Oh, I can get into that. I can send you links and stuff. Oh,
Maybe that's something we could talk about on our live stream. So.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know. Just let me know when you want to do that. By the way.
Okay.
But yeah, they can fund Lance Armstrong, but they can't. They can't take care of us.
I'll set you guys up if you guys want to do that. Like I think I mentioned this to Stevie, that if you guys ever want to do something, which I don't have to be there, I'm just saying I can. You okay? Okay.
Okay, I gotta go though.
Anyway, just let me know and I'll set it up for you guys. Whatever, with this format.
Hey, Tech Move.
Hey, Tech.
What's up, Tech?
Hi, guys.
So, Garden, you wanted to say? Go ahead. I'm good.
Well, it might take a bit. So if anyone has any other topics they want to bring up, like I don't want to hog it for 10+ minutes.
Okay, so I want to show you this. This is really cool.
I love Jimmy Dore today.
He was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
On fire.
And his live stream yesterday.
So he did like a fundraiser. Was that yesterday or was that today's? I saw it must have been yesterday's that he was doing that fundraiser.
I don't know if it was fundraising, but it was a live stream.
Yeah, it was a long stream, and he was wearing a hat because I don't normally see him wearing a hat, so that was different. But he was like taking questions from his audience. It was pretty fun. But I haven't seen today's yet. I usually watch Jimmy on repeat.
So if I were to share screen with a video on this, is the audio going to come across as well? Because I'm not sure if everyone is, because there's a little bit of it won't come across?
I don't think it does because it has, but if you can have your speaker, are you on a headset?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I was playing music one night through the headset and that seemed to come through.
Let's give it a whirl and see what happens. I mean, we can try. Is it a copywritten kind of thing? We got to be concerned about it.
Well, it's part of a Newsbud clip. So I see all these other commentators do it all the time. They sit there and play whole YT clips and just stop every once in a while and chop them up and comment.
Right.
Because then it falls under fair use,
Yeah, so if you attribute it to fair use, I mean, until we get burnt for it, but if we get burnt off YouTube, then we lose most of our chat.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I were to sit here and play like a music video and not say anything, like then we would get smacked for it.
Right, but if like you're saying, if they're breaking it up and then you're commenting on it, it's like that's fair use, I would think.
Yeah, and we see other people do it, so I wouldn't be too concerned. I'm just finding the video. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Hold up a second.
Of course, my neighbor's doing their wash, so that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing wash machine.
Because maybe what I can do is just give you the link, James, and just give you the timestamp of where to start the video.
Okay.
If this doesn't work, but I'll try it this way.
That's fine. I'll do that for you, no problem.
But again, this is a reflection of us looking at our platform and realizing that this is a deficiency. For us to have the best platform, we want to be able to do stuff like this.
Yeah, I think there's a way. Evan would probably say do this or that. I like that sound.
Is that Cheryl again with her phone connection?
Possibly. Don't know.
Because now
You
it's
guys
going
can't
down.
hear that?
No, I can't hear it, sir. But I want to show you this. This is cool. Let me show you this real fast. This is really cool. I'm such a proud dad. But anyway, watch this. Okay. Darn it. Oh crap. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Hold on. Wait, where is it? Oh, there it is. Let's see if this
I
will
got
work.
it ready.
All right, give it a shot. See what happens. Here, watch this.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
No.
No, can't hear it.
So this is Chink talking about Newsbud.
Jank.
Chink.
No, it's a news bud clip, and what it does is about halfway through it, Sibel Edmonds starts going on about how back when she was translating documents for the FBI after 9/11, she was focused on Turkish intelligence and Israeli intelligence. And if you remember, like those who aren't familiar with her, um, she was fired for whistleblowing. And the FBI couldn't deny and, in fact, acknowledged a bunch of her allegations. And this was going to be part of the presentation. There's some evidence in there that backs up her credibility. I see her as a pretty credible source, okay? And she says some pretty disturbing things about, where Jen gets his money. And, and I'm not one to buy into this kind of thing as far as the TYT funding shit goes. I've always thought basically they were, at least just profiteers and not involved in any kind of other bullshit.
Right.
But looking at this, like, I'm starting to think that they are involved in other bullshit, or at least Jank was.
So you saying Jank came on to defend himself against that?
No,
No,
again,
again,
commenting on one of his videos.
Or Newsbud came on saying this is what Jank is really about?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first half of the video goes through the 20 million they got, and then about the second 10 or 15 minutes of it is Sibel talking about the documents she came across while working as an intelligence translator.
So no, is this isn't behind their paywall then? This isn't behind Newsbud's paywall. It's something that I can go look at.
Yeah, it's definitely something you can go look at. In fact, let's try this method, James. I'm going to send you the link.
Okay.
But Nico House did a video, I think Friday, about Chick finally realizing the story about Russia, but he's still trying to tie the whole story to Trump being investigated about Russia.
Yeah.
It was pretty decent video.
But
Nice. I got the link, Gnome. Thanks.
All right, and the timestamp on it, James, is what I'm looking for. Is when the Sibel Edmonds segment actually starts.
When the good stuff comes up, right?
Well, it's all good, but the part that's relevant to this discussion.
Right.
It's all worth watching. I should just post it in the chat as well.
All right. So we'll get
But it's at about 12:50 is where you'd want to start it.
Roger that. I'm on it.
But if you're not familiar with Newsbud at all, they've got a lot of interesting stuff on there. There's a couple of different people and whatnot that they use. And up until probably January or maybe as late as March of this year, they were trying to do it, all their content and whatnot, free and open to everyone. But they figured out they didn't have enough backing. They weren't getting enough donations that they couldn't do that so much, and that they had to go back and put some of their stuff, under paywall. So, but they're
which is not much for this buffoon, and I landed a job with the NBC, MSNBC. Again, look at the pattern. I'm a Republican, evil man. He is a fascist.
What did you say? 1250 or where?
Yeah, I fucked that up. I was looking through the. Let me see where it starts.
But you guys can hear it pretty good?
I could hear it.
Okay.
Can
Yeah.
Chat, can you hear it?
What is it 12? Just give me the time on there.
Yeah, well, why not just start it at 12:50? That's fine.
I'm gonna start
Or
it
a
at,
little bit before
I'm gonna,
that. Yeah, like
I'm starting at 12:24 or something, whatever. Okay, so
yeah,
let
it's
me get
like
it
it
on the
was a little bit
screen
messed up.
just a second. You gotta have your holding music.
Just he's a dictator. Well, when you look at Cenk Uygur, you would see that he was dancing under the same tunes as the CIA and
Okay,
Fethullah
so
Gulen.
you'll
And
want to
by the
start it
way,
a little
Cenk
bit before
Uygur has
this.
always been serving this
Start it back at
mullah.
12.
Went through this entire transformation where President Erdogan went from the greatest leader of the Muslim world, the best man for the civilization in Middle East, etc., all the way up till 2011 to suddenly he's a dictator, he's an evil man, he's a fascist, he's a dictator. Well, when you look at Cenk Uygur, you would see that he was dancing under the same tunes as the CIA and Fethullah Gulen. And by the way, Cenk Uygur has always been serving this mullah, this Islamist mullah Fethullah Gulen and his network. Without their blessing, he wouldn't have gotten where he has gotten, considering his dimwit and the kind of stature he had. You see that exactly at the same time, he switches position. Again, look at the pattern. I'm a Republican ultra conservative. I am a Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton lover Democrat. Oops, no, I'm a progressive liberal and I'm supporting Bernie Sanders. I'm pro Erdogan. Ooh, no. Now that CIA and Fethullah Gulen changed course, now I am anti Erdogan. I am an alternative guy. Oops, I went there and kissed asses and sold everything I've got, which is not much for this buffoon, and I landed a job with the NBC, MSNBC. What happened to the guy who was so anti-mainstream media? So I am not surprised that a guy like that, the buffoon like that, is getting money, whether it's from people like George Soros foundations or through companies and mega corporations that are intimately tied to partisan politics of Democrats versus Republican or vice versa. In his case, he is intimately tied to the Democratic campaign, and they have now. I mean, if you go and look at the headlines, you will see that they are increasing their lobby.
Is that a third leg? Anyway, I'll continue. Sorry.
Yeah, but actually, like, it should have been started a little bit before that. At the beginning of it, she goes through her experiences as an intelligence analyst.
You just let me know and I'll stop.
reviews it.
It's okay to tell me what to do here. It's cool.
I did, dude, but I guess it didn't come through or something.
But we're getting to some good stuff. And
Well, if you want to rewind it, go ahead. Just try to find the beginning of her speech. It can't be too far before where you started.
no, she starts talking about. Let me see, Huffington Post.
Progressive liberal and tied to the Democratic Party. Are Republican. The next day they are tied to the Democratic Party. So you're looking at the similar pattern, and you see this with rats like this. People who change positions. One day they are Republican. The next day they are a Democrat.
Like,
Okay.
try to find the beginning. I'll try to find it.
Became a liberal progressive. He.
Let's go ahead and pause it for a second.
So I was not surprised when he started attacking me and launched this. He knew that I knew because I had been speaking about and
Here it is. So what happens, I think, is this guy.
Financial elite. I brought this information to the attention of Newsbuzz
Yeah, it's like
founder
all the way
Sibel
back
Evans.
at like 6:30
This is
or
what
something.
she had to say.
It's all the way
Yeah,
back
it's
at
at
like
6:49.
6:30.
Well, first, I became familiar
it right
not
here.
with his face, but with his name, because when I was working with the FBI and going through all these Turkey CIA operations, Gladio B operations related files with persons of interest who were targets of these investigations, the name Cenk Uygur began popping, not at any high level, main target level. He was more of a lower level parasitic, criminally connected guy with shady Turkish Israeli organizations that were operating for this particular operation from late 1990s until at least the time that I was fired from the FBI, which was 2002. I was not surprised when he began disinformation campaign and sabotage against my case during my whistleblowing journey. This is during the period between 2004 and 2008. Because he knew that I knew, because I had been speaking about and talking about some of the facts, some of the involved organizations, front organizations. Some of them were Turkish organizations. Well, he was involved, Cenk Uygur, again, as a rat, as a lower level rat, nobody significant. But when you're looking at the petty criminal in the bottom of the chain, parasitic guy, that's what he was. So he knew that I was familiar with those criminal organizations he was involved with. So I was not surprised when he started attacking me and launched this disinformation campaign against my whistleblowing case while I was single-handedly fighting the George W. Bush administration on all different fronts, state secrets privilege, various gag orders, etc. And then you have to look at this guy's pattern, okay? I mean, when you look at this buffoon, this guy went from ultra conservative, like heavily Republican, ultra.
She does not like this guy at all.
No, she doesn't. And then,
and for good cause. And for good cause. She seemed like a very reputable person. She's had some serious. Her resume is crazy, amazing. So she definitely I don't think she's just throwing crap out. She's not puking anything. I think she's really. I can sense the sincerity in her tone.
Ultra conservative. We are looking at the level of Rush Limbaugh conservative, and boom, overnight this guy became a liberal progressive. He was reborn as liberal progressive. The same thing. I mean, the same pattern repeats itself again. This guy went from, hey, I'm the little alternative guy, I'm anti-establishment, I'm anti-system, to a guy who began ass kissing so many asses and begging in order to land a job with mainstream media, MSNBC. It's interesting. You see the parallels between this guy and Arianna Huffington. Of course, Huffington always was at a higher level. As I said, this buffoon is like a lower level petty guy. But Arianna Huffington had the same thing. And she used to be this very, very conservative, ultra conservative Republican who suddenly was reborn, and this is Arianna Huffington, and became this progressive liberal, and got tied from Republican Party and went to be intimately tied to the Democratic Party. So you're looking at the similar pattern, and you see this with rats like this. People who change positions. One day they are Republican, the next day they are a Democrat. One day they are progressive Bernie Sanders supporters. A week later they become a staunch Clinton supporters. You see this pattern among these lower level rats. And as you can see when you go and look at this videos, misinformation, propaganda videos he puts out there, and this is Cenk Uygur of Young Turk, you will see that he has been pro-coup, the attempted coup in Turkey. Well, again, if you look at his background, Cenk Uygur and Young Turk, you will see that until 2011, he was a staunch supporter of Erdogan. He could not praise President Erdogan, highly enough. And then you see that the switch gets turned off and then gets turned on in the opposite direction. Starting from end of 2011, he is just constantly launching attacks against Erdogan, and he was a major supporter of the attempted coup. Well, if you look at the year 2011, you will see that this was the year, and this is 2011, where the division occurred between Erdogan and CIA's Fethullah Gulen, therefore with the CIA. We have covered this. If you show my probable cause, I went through this entire transformation where President Erdogan went from the greatest leader of the Muslim world, the best man for the civilization in Middle East, etc., all the way up till 2011 to suddenly he's a dictator, he's an evil man, he's a fascist, he's a dictator. Well, when you look at Cenk Uygur, you would see that he was dancing under the same tunes as the CIA and Fethullah Gulen. And by the way, Cenk Uygur has always been serving this mullah, this Islamist mullah Fethullah Gulen and his network. Without their blessing, he wouldn't have gotten where he has gotten, considering his dimwit and the kind of stature he had. So you see that exactly at the same time, he switches position. Again, look at the pattern. I'm a Republican ultra-conservative. I am a Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton lover Democrat. Oops, no, I'm a
That sounds like me.
Yeah, I know.
progressive liberal,
Yeah, we should
and
pause it every
I'm
once. We should
supporting.
pause it every once in a while to talk, just to
Okay.
make sure that we don't act with something. So
Yeah, I think it.
does anybody have anything, or if you can raise your hands or something, and if you want James to pause it, then we can do it that way and talk about the clip that way.
I think everybody's just kind of listening to it. Let me just hold on. I gotta change it.
I think we've talked long enough.
Everything. I think she's made her point. Am I right? He's in my opinion, the guy. He's following the money. That's, I think, the bottom line. I think that I think his goal is to be up on the podium, being the guy that's making big dough, doing his job, like a lot of these people do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And if we look here, we have the ACLU supporting her, and you can go ahead and look that article up.
Yeah.
Where it goes and basically talks about her whistleblowing activities, and it gives us a timeline and tells us about how the FBI couldn't refute a lot of her initial allegations. So is the question, would she just make up the fact that she was seeing his name appear in these documents?
I don't think so.
No.
I think she's real. I think she knows, and I think it's really sad. I used to watch Cenk, and I used to think the guy was pretty cool until Bernie came around. And then then there was this, somebody on Facebook posted, he gets money, he just got a big deal from some company, the $20 million deal or something. And anyway, it's just, then things started to change in regards to my perspective of who he is. And this just adds to, he's just like, he's going to be probably no different than Rachel Maddow. She's fucking going crazy. I mean, if you've seen her, Jimmy Dore tore.
You gotta see Jimmy Dore video on her about the Niger story with Trump. It's hilarious.
Yeah. She's got the wrong freaking country, and she's it's just terrible. So that's what's happening is like in our politicians too, that once they get to a certain level, like I say, they somebody shows them that vault and say they open the door and they let them peek inside, and they go, see that's those stacks of of bullion and gold, that could be yours. You just need to do what we tell you to do. It just seems that way. It's like everybody has a fucking price. It sucks. You know, I don't know what else to say. I almost drank.
Yeah, it's
I
just
almost drank this.
but
I almost drank my real soy sauce bottle.
through watching TYT and the way that like this is playing out, like we can learn how media is going to be controlled going forward.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing about it is, we'll learn, what we could learn how to vet sources, for example. I mean, I have a pretty high standard of evidence, and she's passing it so far. I haven't seen anything.
So let me interject on that one, though. Maybe we should have our conversation outside of this conversation, maybe not. Um, when I first got turned on to NewsBud, like I say, it's probably been over a year ago now. The only thing that I've really come up against as far as her reporting directly, because she spun off, like I was saying, she's got a bunch of other commentators and whatnot. The James guy, I can't think of his last name. She's got a bunch of people that are working for her. The guy that we saw at the very beginning of that is, I think, one of her technical directors on that video. But that aside, I watched one of her videos, Sybil Edmonds' videos a while back, and she got on one of, I think she's still a sitting congresswoman from the state of Illinois. I don't know if you're familiar with that story or not. No,
I'm not.
And I could go into the details of it. The way that Sybil Edmonds challenged her, I thought was fantastic and great, but there hasn't been any follow up on it. And so whether it was just a whole lot of her trying to move her brand forward and there wasn't any formal, thing of that state, that representative from Illinois, getting back to her, or there wasn't any further, as far as I could tell. The problem that I have, of course, is I can't get behind their paywall and check all their content out. And so I've got a limitation working against me. But if indeed that's the case, and whether this is a sitting U.S. Congresswoman that Sybil Edmonds has dug up all this dirt on, of course the mainstream media is probably not going to cover it. And of course, that congressperson, woman from Illinois, she's going to want to kick it under the rug and not, get back to her. But I don't know if there's been any additional commentary on that. And if it's one of these things where you can't verify it, well, then you don't know. On the other hand, if it's a bunch of allegations on Sybil Edmonds' part against this congresswoman, then that puts into, at least the question in my mind is Sybil Edmonds, as legitimate as we want to make her out to be, because she is very credible. And up to that point that I'd seen that video, and then I was waiting to see if there would be some response. I checked a few times, and of course, with the amount of stuff and whatnot that we track and we follow, we tend to lose track of things if they're, not fed back to us, or somebody doesn't remind us of something. The story, the trail, gets pushed on the back burner, that kind of thing. Other than that, though, if I had the wherewithal to get into NewsBud, I track this down and find out, like I said, what became of this story as well. Because this reporting on TYT and Cenk Uygur, and his new media operation, I couldn't agree with you more. No, if we could follow whether they're legitimate or not, it's going to, in the long run, teach us as activists and whatnot how to follow this stuff, how to vet these people, etc.
Well, and then with TYT, we have the kindergarten or beginners level example because they are corrupt, and they're switch was so obvious.
Right.
Whatever reason they did it for, like whether they're following like the orders of some kind of foreign agent or they just did it for cash, it doesn't matter in that sense. Like you can watch them flip, and you can kind of see how people arrange talking points. And TYT, they're kind of bumblers and they're always fucking it up. So it's easy to spot.
Right.
When it gets more complicated, when you sit there through like the through some of the think tank forums that they have, there's the same bullshit that goes on, right? And you sit there and watch them, but it's at a more advanced level, and like you really got to watch it, or else it'll see, because it sounds like it makes sense.
And I think too, it's like I think a great part about our vetting process is we can run it by other people or try to run it by other people that we think might understand it or have the necessary skills, tools, background, historical bent, whatever it is, to help shed some light on it.
Well, yeah, but the other part of that is we don't want to rely too much on other people at all. We want to learn ourselves. Like each person is going to have to kind of learn for themselves.
Yeah.
So
well, there is
that's
that,
the whole point
and
of
that would be the ultimate position to be in. If we were all educated up to that level.
Well, it doesn't, but not everyone might
want
it's
to
not
be
like
that way.
like we want everyone to have everyone's not going to have an equal understanding of it. They're not going to have the interest, or they're not going to have the energy to go through it, or whatever.
Right.
But just if everyone can understand as much as they can, or as much as they want to, like, and just kind of learn how to go through the process, that's the important thing. Like, for example, her whistleblowing allegations they actually came out of a lawsuit. Okay, what happened was she was fired, and then she filed a lawsuit against the FBI, right? And she wanted to get these documents released to support her lawsuit. So it wasn't like she was doing it out of any sense of altruism or duty.
Right. No. I'm following that.
Yeah. So we have to keep that in mind when we look at her whistleblowing history.
Well, what I'm talking about, this is an additional investigation that she started later after all of her Bush Jr. era thing of that whole whistleblowing experience, that had already gone away.
I know that you're referring to the congressperson.
Right. This other thing that I was just talking about sheds is later, and my frustration, of course, is not being able to talk it through with any kind of like a firmer knowledge of, hey, what's the result been? Because that's when you talk about true credibility over the course of time, we're talking about, 10, 15 years ago with the original allegations of what was going on, with Sybil Edmonds. But this is later, and if nothing's come of it, and she's had to dig up that stuff, instead of making her even more of a vaunted investigative journalist type, it might shed some dirt on her.
Well, what was revealed, that when she was fired, it was determined that she had followed all appropriate procedures for reporting her concern up the chain of command, and that she was retaliated against and fired.
Right.
And after her termination, many of her allegations were confirmed by the FBI in unclassified briefings at Congress. So regardless of her own personal motivation in bringing that up, we did get some facts out of it.
Yeah. You and I right now, for some reason, and it's probably my chewing over my dinner, whatever it is, I am not saying this explicitly enough, clearly enough to let you know that what I'm talking about isn't that initial thing.
I know, dude. I know. Like, I know that you're talking about the congressperson.
Right, but
the points that I'm bringing up are
from
actually
the original, aren't they?
Are supporting your argument
Oh, okay.
that we should, have a critical eye when it comes to her allegations.
That's all I'm saying.
Whether we're talking about this case or the other one. Maybe I wasn't clear.
Yeah, very good, very good. No, I just didn't know, and the way you were saying it, I was like, is he still talking about her initial investigation?
Well, I was, but it was,
yeah,
as I said,
context, and I'm not in your brain to understand. Yeah. Good. It's good, man. It's all good. The only thing that it's going to make me do is now that we've talked about it again, and I know in particular, I respect your viewpoints, Noam. It's going to make me try and go back and dig a little deeper and find out, what's going on with this other thing, because what she was saying about this congresswoman from Illinois, man, this woman, big and bad news. Big bad news that, if it was true, all that stuff that she was saying, man, the people of Illinois, and they keep electing her, again and again and again, like all these other folks in Washington D.C. Man, they should have put the kibosh on her long ago. This congresswoman.
actually, I'm looking it up right now to see if I can find anything about it.
Thank you.
Now,
I told my brother that there was an article that came out. Not an article; it was actually a commentation by Fox about a NASA astronaut that commented that global warming was not going to be as bad as everybody thought it was going to be. And Fox they're all over smearing global warming or a man's human footprint.
Because it fits their narrative.
Of course, and everybody knows that. But so what happened is I found the guy. I actually spoke to him on the phone after I sent him an email or two, and the conversation was, they took it totally out of context. Here is the original interview or comment that I made, and they just took out pieces of what they wanted to put up there. But I did my due diligence and actually spoke to the horse's mouth. So that's the sad part about this. And I don't think everybody has fucking. I was just thinking, there's no way a guy from fucking NASA that's been up in space would fucking say that global warming is a farce, is not slowing down, or whatever Fox was pointing out. And I just had to find this guy. So I found out where he was teaching at a college or something like that. Emailed him. I said, hey, Fox is saying this shit about you. He didn't even know. And then when I talked to him on the phone, he goes, it's sad that this happens now, and thank you for bringing it to my attention. I have to go defend myself. And he did. And the thing is there's so much disinformation out there, and it's everywhere. And we don't. What's the biggest frustration for me is we don't even. I can't even trust even some of the independent news out there. I have to be very, you know what I'm talking. We have to be careful. So
we have our own version of